Blogging 101. Now, here's the deal. With blogging, there's a big question mark. And that question mark is, why start a blog? Seriously, why start a blog? I mean, if you don't know why you're doing it, you really won't get very far. Blogging is one of those long-term commitments. Seriously, you're putting yourself out there to the world, in the universe, for all to see. It takes work, it takes research, it takes writing skills, it takes creativity, and yes, it takes time. It's a pretty big commitment to start a blog, especially if you have any desire to see it succeed. And I presume that's one reason you want to do, because you want to see it succeed. Now, having said that, blogging can be extremely worthwhile. There are millions of blogs out there, some, worthless, some extremely useful to an individual or a company in helping the rest of the world see their work and their thoughts, to see who that person really is or that company. Blogging is the latest online evolutionary step in digital communication, and for a lot of reasons we'll explore over the next 50 minutes or so. So what is your why? You first have to determine why you are going to blog. Once you determine that, you can move forward with planning such items as the look and feel of your blog, the layout, design, colors, etc. So some possible reasons why you might want to blog. Are you trying to position yourself or brand your company in the marketplace? Are you trying to gain notoriety in your industry? Are you trying to, make a few dollars on the side? Because a lot of bloggers make money. I wouldn't say all of them do. In fact, I'd say a small percentage of them really make a living off of that. But certainly you can bring in a few bucks here and there with blogging. Is it some sort of combination of all of the above? And, of course, there are very many different kinds of blogs. Is it a company blog you're thinking about for an organization? Or is it some sort of corporate or nonprofit that you've got in mind? Or is it a personal blog that's based on your desires and your interests, your skills, and your passion? Can you create a personal blog? Well, of course you can. Does it tie in with those interests? Because if you're passionate about it, you're going to stay committed. Perhaps you want to have a blog that is an outpost for your opinions on some information that you feel is worthwhile. Some information might be very helpful to some folks. Some issues or topics that you cover in a news-like as well as commentary fashion. Or maybe it's sort of bits and pieces, combination of all those various approaches. So one of the questions becomes, what are you capable of creating for the blog on a regular basis? Is there writing? Is there commentary involved? Is there information? Is there observation? You can do podcasting on a blog, very easily to set that up. Video is very easy to implement. Photography, all the multimedia that ties into that is very, very easy to do. You can also get contributions from other people to make your blog worthwhile. And, of course, if you are a blogger, you're going to be writing quite a bit. Now, one thing I like to do with a blog is podcasting, and this, of course, comes from my radio background. Stick a microphone in front of me, and I tend to just kind of meander for a while and talk about things, and it's back in my old disc jockey days. So that is podcasting. Putting out a regular podcast has proven to be a big hit for lots of people. And, of course, there's a lot to putting out a podcast, too, but podcasts can be a very integral part of a blog. And it's what I do on TradeshowGuyBlog.com, as well as another one called CommunicationsSteroids.com, because I have an interest in audio and broadcasting, and it's really fun to sit down behind a microphone. By the way, this is a photograph that's from the government that's showing one of the FEMA podcasts that they put out. Didn't know the government FEMA did podcasts, but yes, they do. How about photography? Lots of blogs incorporate photography. The web is a great medium for sharing photography. In fact, even if you're not a photographer, it's worth it to put a lot of photos into your blog posts. We'll talk about a couple of great options on how to do that when I take you into the back office of TradeshowGuyBlog.com here in just a few moments. And, of course, you can do video on your blog. I mean, seriously, it does not take very much to put up a video. You need a simple video camera, such as a flip video camera or something similar. And often the software that comes with the camera is sufficient to do basic editing and uploading to YouTube. And once you've done that, you just need to copy and paste the embed code into your blog to have that video appear on your blog, where you can then tell your world about it through Facebook and Twitter, as well as your email newsletters. Of course, getting other people to contribute in some way or shape or form is always helpful. If it's a corporate blog, for instance, who in your company besides you will participate on a regular basis? I would say when you go to a blog, don't set yourself up to fail by setting up conditions such as, if I don't see any results from this in 3 months, I'm quitting. If that's the case, you'll have that little idea sitting on your shoulder with everything you post to the blog. I would say blog for the joy of writing, blog for the way of just getting the information out to your target market, and sharing things. If you don't have that, if you can't find things on a regular basis that you'd like to share with people, you will have a difficult time blogging. I would agree that not everyone should be blogging. There are, these are all good questions to mull over, and I presume that you have done so to at least a certain extent. Otherwise, you would not be here. So let's get starting on the actual building of a blog. Now, I'm going to discuss a few items that you'll need to consider before jumping in that have to do with where your blog will be hosted, and then I'll open up the back office of tradeshowguyblog.com and go through some of the nuts and bolts of building and customizing your blog through WordPress. There are other options, but WordPress is the one I tend to use, so that's what I'll show you. Well, first of all, there is a domain fee, an annual fee. You can register a domain. That's the name. That's the URL. That's what you type in the address bar of your web browser to get to your blog. You can go to GoDaddy.com or register.com, or even your host can do it as well, such as Bluehost.com, which is what I use. You have to choose a platform for your blogging software. There's quite a few available. WordPress is the one I favor. TypePad, Blogger, Movable Type. You can go to website hosting for GoDaddy and Bluehost as well. So that's some of the things to consider just kind of up front, the nuts and bolts of getting started. The domain fee, the platform, and the website hosting. Also, you want to ask yourself, do you want to host it yourself, or do you want to have someone else host it for you? For instance, WordPress, you can do a blog there, and they host it for free. You don't have to worry about paying an annual fee for your blog, your server, and you don't have to worry about setting it up. You just go in and sign up for an account, and you're off and running. There's also TypePad. And here's the sort of the things to look at. A hosted is mostly free, very easy to set up. I think TypePad actually charges you a fee for that. Movable Type as well. Blogger is free. I think that's a Google product. But if you're self-hosted, you will also be able to pay your monthly and annual fee and have complete control over everything that goes on your blog. With someone else's platform, you may not have the complete control that you would like. A lot of the software folks, right now I should say a lot of the hosting folks like Bluehost, offer a one-click WordPress install. So one of the questions I get is, what does it take to install WordPress? Well, it depends on who you host with, because if you host with a company that offers one-click install, and most of them do these days, all you do is go in and say, okay, where do you want the blog? Put it here, click, go, and it gets installed. You don't have to worry about anything else. It is fairly easy to do if you don't have that ability, but they are making it easier and easier as you go along, as time goes. So let's go ahead and check out the back office of tradeshowguyblog.com. Let's see here, hang on just a second. We'll go over to here. Now this is what it looks like when you first get to the sign-in area. And what I'm going to do is just kind of, once we get logged in, I'm just going to go through sort of the lay of the land and what you see here. This is sort of the back office, what they call the dashboard. And you can see right here that, let's see if I can get my drawing tools. Right here we have the number of posts I have, how many separate pages I have, the kind of categories, the tags I've got, and the amount of comments I've got, how many I've approved, some are pending. There's some spam in there because there's some tools that catch all the spam that show up, and that always helps. So you don't have to see that on your website. Let's go over to, see if we can get rid of this. What you do to get your website set up, your blog set up. If you notice over here on the left side, you've got posts, you've got media, you've got some of the links you may have in there, some of the pages you have, also a place to check out your the comments that are going on, the appearance of your blog, some of the plugins, we'll cover those, who the users might be, some tools, and how to adjust your settings. Also, there's a few other things down here that are sort of add-ons, some of the widgets that I have in there. So let's start and look at posts. We'll just click on that and go take a quick look at some of the posts that are going on. These are the ones that have been published. This is the most recent one that just came out today. I put this out last week, but it was published today. Marketing Lessons from Yoko Ono. I had a podcast on Monday, Derek Maribon interview. On I think last Friday, I published a post called Recent Podcasts on TradeShowGuyBlog.com. And a couple days before that, it was some of the coolest tools I use. Over here, you can take a look at some of the categories these are in, some of the tags, if there are tags. For instance, in the coolest tools I use, I tried to list a lot of the tools I use so that we had, if anyone was searching for those tools online, they might run across this particular post and come visit and see some of the other stuff I've done. So this is your sort of editorial calendar background. Look and see what is actually in your post area. And if you wanted to go edit one of these, very easy to do. Either click on the main title there or click on where it says edit. And you can go, I'll take a quick look at this. And this is what the thing looks like. And scroll down here. There's a couple of views and a couple of things that I can show you here. For instance, if I wanted to look at the HTML and edit this, if you don't know HTML, it probably wouldn't do much for you. But this is actually very useful. If you do know some HTML, you can make some adjustments here, which helps you get back behind the code that is going out onto the web. Click back to visual. If you want to change any of the way this looks, for instance, it's much like any text editor or any WordPress, or I should say MS Word document producer. You can highlight something, you can bold it, you can italicize it, you can draw through it if you'd like, and you can also put it in an ordered list, unordered list, put it in a quote, block quote. You can move it to the left, move it to the right, just like anything else. I could put a link on here if I wanted. I would just have to know what the URL was and put that in there. So if I was linking to a website, this has actually got a link to it. You can see it's highlighted right there. Let's go down to the Add New area. If you go, oops, I'll leave this page because I'm not making any changes. If you want to add a new post, this is what it looks like. You just put your title there and then start typing. Or you cut and paste, copy and paste the information you have from either a text editor or a WordPress editor. Either one works. And if you want to check out some of the categories that you have, you just click on down. I'm just going to take you down this whole thing. This is the list of categories that I currently have. I can go in and edit these if I want. In other words, if I want to capitalize that, I go, oh, booth design. I need to have that say booth design with a large D because I want it to look like everything else. So you can edit that. And just this help, this is the look and feel of your blog. You can edit your post tags as well. Some of the popular tags. You think trade show marketing is popular because it's one of the biggest. Well, it's probably true. I also have a calendar if I want to move things around. If I, for instance, wanted to move this over to Friday and post that on Friday, I could easily just drop and drag that over there. And if I had 4 or 5 down here, I could move them around as well. This is the editorial calendar. This is an additional widget that I added here just a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't used it much, but it looks really interesting. And once you start to add more posts to that, you can easily move things around your editorial calendar. You can see ahead and see how everything looks. If you want to set up your tweet information, I believe. Your Twitter option tools, that's another widget. If you want to send out a tweet, this lets you just go ahead and do that and link right to your post as well. So a lot of ways to work the social media in as well.